It is December 2024, ladies and gentlemen, which means we are only pretty much 9 months away. 10 months. 10 months away, 9 months away, whatever you want to say. We're in that range from NASCAR 25 releasing on consoles, the first NASCAR console game to be released since NASCAR 21 Ignition in October of 2021. It's been a long time. We've all been very patient. This video is basically 5 features that I want to see in the game. Just something that, in my opinion, should be in the game. It doesn't have to be in the game. It might not, but what you want to be in the game. It's not features that really have to be in the game. Like, I'm talking licensed tracks and, like, just all the cars and stuff. Just 5 features that I've thought of, over the course of the last few days that I believe could be very key marketing tools, very key for the community, that would help the game not only just be really good at launch, but actually last a few months and even a year into the cycle. If they don't want to make it a yearly release and make it, let's say, a bi-yearly release, then there are a few features that I think the game definitely needs. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. I want to give a shout out to all the Patreon members. You guys are the absolute best thing, guys, for helping me support the channel. And thank you guys as always for your support. Follow me on Twitter if you haven't already. Subscribe if you are new. We're trying to get 100,000 subscribers. We're currently at 82,000. So let's get into it. I am expecting iRacing to be slowly launching some more news on this game. They've already done, I think, 2 or 3 dev diaries. They've not shown any gameplay yet. Really nothing, screenshots, really nothing. We've just seen, the track scannings and stuff like that. Maybe some of the car models in, the being generated. But other than that, we have not seen anything. I think, at the start of next year, maybe even the end of this year, but the start of next year in January and February, you're going to start seeing a lot more information. Maybe our first looks at gameplay, screenshots, stuff like that. Gameplay would probably be maybe till March or April, but, screenshots, what does the game actually look like? The fact that this game is going to be on the Unreal Engine, it's Monster Games' first time using the Unreal Engine and not the Unity engine for a NASCAR console game. Now, they did make, the NASCAR Heat series, obviously, but if it's a completely different engine with iRacing and a lot of their employees now helping out, the game engine can be tuned. It's going to be very different and very interesting to see what this game looks like. But also, if this game does end up being a biannual release and not an annual release, which there are positives and negatives to both, then that also goes into some of the features that I think the game should have. I'm going to start on the online first, because if you are going to make this game bi-yearly, again, I don't know if it's bi-yearly or an annual release. They've not said anything about that, but if it is going to be a biannual release, you need your online features to carry, because after a month or two, all your single player and offline features that you can put into the game is going to run its course. Whether it's a career mode or whether it's challenges that you could do in the course of 4 or 5 hours, you need your online specifically to carry. And iRacing know this. They're literally iRacing, so they have a lot of details in this. So the number one thing that I want, honestly, in the online mode for iRacing is not relying on matchmaking. Games like F1, where I've had a lot of trouble trying to find lobbies, or even iRacing's own official lobby, I want the full-on ability to create a private session, to run private leagues, to have practice sessions in my private sessions, to have qualifying sessions in my private sessions, and even possibly the ability, well, we don't really need this, but if we, let's say, turn cautions off, the leaders of the league can call their own cautions, or maybe the game will help you out with that. But a lot of the features on online to allow us to run leagues, to run private sessions, that is what I want. And when you want public sessions, I've been saying this for a very long time, for the public sessions, I really hope and pray that the way they make the online, official lobbies or matchmaking, or whatever you want to call it, when you just want to go jump into a race with random people, I hope that they have something as similar to NASCAR 9 as possible, which means you have or even NASCAR Heat 5. NASCAR Heat 5 had this as well. NASCAR E5 had this choice where if you went to go do a race, you had the option to see the lobbies. You were able to see the track, you were able to see the race length, you were able to see how many people are in the lobbies. This is something that is critically important in my opinion, because you are able to really determine what you want to race in before, and it's not as simple as, super speedway lobby like NASCAR 21 Ignition had, right? They had like the super speedway stuff and they had the short track stuff, and it was matchmaking and it was random. No. We want to see what we're racing. If we're going to be running with random people, show me that there's 10 people there. Show me that there's 20 people there, whatever it might be. I also don't think you need to have, what NASCAR Heat was very proud of was that the fact that you could race 40 people online. I'm sorry, but no one's going to do that. 40 people racing online, the servers, it's going to be a little bit too much. We don't need 40 people. You can limit that. 16, 20, 24, whatever you want to put that as. I really don't think you need to prioritize you race as 40 people, a full car field. We really don't need that. I'm being completely honest. 16, 20, 24 people lobbies, condense it down a little bit, focus on quality, not quantity, focus on giving the player options to not be just lunched into this, like, matchmaking crap where you have no control. Give us as much control as possible. The ability to create private sessions, that's extremely important for the longevity of this game. If there's anything else that this game needs, there are a lot of things this game needs in terms of the basics, but for the longevity of the game, we desperately need the online to give us those resources where we can race leagues and online sessions and just have as much control as possible. Things like custom paint schemes or, being able to transfer that online, they would be nice, but that's not a priority in my opinion. What I'm saying that I feel like is a priority is just making sure this game does not die out after a month or two because the online features are not good enough or not deep enough. The second thing I really want in this game, and I feel like iRacing will deliver with this, if there are Xfinity cars and truck series, if that is going to be in the game, we don't know yet, but if you're going to have the Xfinity, the trucks, and the Cup series, the one thing I want is full-blown customization with the car setup. So you can have your default setups, but we want to be able to save setups, even share setups. If you can have a downloadable section on the main menu where you have community creations and people can make setups and then we can share them across the community, that would be really helpful. Now, that also could play a part in online racing, but again, NASCAR 9 had something similar. The thing is, you got to be friends with the person in order to get the setup. Forza has a thing where you can make a setup and anyone can download it and you can rate it and stuff like that. So it could play a part in everyone having the same setup and it becomes a little bit meta at certain tracks or something like that. But the ability to share setups, to deeply customize setups, again, that is something that will help the longevity of the game. It's something we did not have with NASCAR 21 Ignition. It was supposed to be in NASCAR 21 Ignition. The setup menu was literally in the game. When you were in the garage area, you would see the setup menu, but it was not actually a feature in the game. It was locked somewhere in the game files. So we want to be able to customize the cars as deep as possible in all three series, so that way online racing is better, as well as offline racing if you want to set the AI to some ridiculous difficulty. But for you car gurus, for you setup gurus, that is something that we really need in the game. For career mode, this is the third thing. For career mode, you have to be able to own your own race team. If you can't own your own race team, do not call it a career mode. Just call it a championship mode or a driver career like Formula 1 does it, where you could take a real life driver and try to win the championship with them. If you cannot own your own race team, if you cannot customize your race team and your R&D department and crew chiefs, pit crew members and stuff like that, do not call it a career mode. Because one thing that annoys me with NASCAR 21 Ignition, also annoyed me at the beginning of the NASCAR Heat games, is that the career mode was not a career mode. And the reason why I bring this up is because NASCAR 25 is going to be the first game in a new series. And every time we get this first game in a new series, the career mode is usually and always very lackluster and not enough detail. So I'm actually okay if you guys want to come out and just say, hey, we didn't have time for a career mode, here's a driver career, then focus on one or the other. And they're already in details with this, so they've already picked their path. But if it's going to be a career mode, focus on upgrading your race teams, upgrading your attributes, your car parts, whatever it might be. Sponsorship is a big deal for me in a career mode, because I always find the motivation of attracting sponsors, signing sponsors, and that being crucial to my race team, because I have expenses. I feel like that always has to be in the game. If that cannot be in the game, if that is not a feature in the game, if that's not part of it, just focus on a driver career mode where you might have interviews, press conferences, social media, stuff like that. So pick one side or the other. A career mode owning a team, or a driver career focusing on the luxuries and press conferences and all the outside stuff that a driver has to deal with. Don't try to go half and half and then not fully flesh out the features. That is something that I really don't want. Again, my only worry about this is that it's the first game. I think over the course of some years, over the course of some game cycles, that they'll be able to really flesh out a career mode that I think everyone is going to enjoy. But for the first game, just pick one way or the other and then focus on that. The fourth thing I would say is, for customization reasons, I really want to be able to truly control the races that I'm in. And what I mean by this is actually going back to NR 2003. In NR 2003, you were able to pick, 5%, 10%, 50%, 20%, 25%, 30%, 35%, 40%, whatever the race length you want. I find this thing of limiting the player to a 5% race or a 15% race or a 25% race to a 50% race, not 30, not 40, not 20, not 10%, like even just a lap counter. Like if you want, if I want to do specifically 13 laps at Daytona, let me do 13 laps at Daytona. I really don't see the reasons for limiting options. So the fourth thing here is just give us the options. Night races, day races, you know, partly cloudy, the weather, all that stuff. If you can get track temperature to affect the way the track drives, that's a little bit more detailed. I'm not saying that should be in the game, but if that's a thing, then the weather should be a really big deal. But just the customization of the race lengths, you know, black flags on, yellow flags only, or black flags only, pit road speed enforced or not enforced, all these things, just let us customize the game like we want to do it, so that way we can kind of play around with things and each player can find something that they like. I think something that NASCAR 21 Ignition that they didn't do is that you couldn't really customize it as much as you want to, also because half of the features were broken. So like complex damage or visual damage. Well, complex damage is basically broken. The tire wear, there was no tire wear or fuel gauge or fuel, you know, accelerator. So what if we want ×2, ×3, ×4 tire wear and fuel? Please put those options in the game. The more options, the better. The more you can just let the player do what they want in your game, the better. It's never nice to just limit features and take them out because it's not necessary. It might not be necessary to you, but it could be necessary to someone else. And the more options that you have to customize your game, to customize your races, to customize how the races play out, that is going to be very important for the longevity of the game. So please, 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 if you can, tire wear accelerator, fuel accelerator, damage options, race length options, all this stuff, please have that in the game. I would really hope that when we play the game, those features are not there. That's going to be really frustrating. The fifth and final thing is something a little bit more niche. I don't think a lot of people really think about it or care about it. Even when I, before becoming a content creator, I didn't even think about it really or care about it. But a pretty good replay system or photo mode would actually be really nice. Photo mode, obviously, because a lot of people, especially on social media nowadays, I see so many different, whether it's graphic designs or paint scheme designs or just awesome photos from so many people on social media that are really talented, and they're just proud to showcase like something they made or a cool photo that they got. And I always thought photo mode was like, it was like, it's a cool feature and I don't care. I've thought about that for a long time. Even when for example, if I play Spider-Man, right? Spider-Man was pushing photo mode so hard, I was like, okay, but it's just photo mode. And then you go on social media and you realize all these awesome photos and art directions and filters and templates that you can make in this photo mode, and then it helps promote the game. So something that I think this game really actually needs is either or both a very good replay system or a very good photo mode, or both, because even for me, someone like me, thumbnails could be made via that, replay systems to see what happened, looking back at a crash. I don't even think NASCAR 21 Ignition had a replay system, but you had to finish the race. If you can make the replay system like you pause the game, then you're able to go into a replay of the last minute or something, that would be very nice. I know the consoles with the SSD in them now, you should be able to store a lot of memory and go through memory very quickly. So I'm hoping that in-depth replay system and in-depth photo mode, that would be really nice to help, if the game is good, get word of mouth out there on social media. Oh, there's this new NASCAR game out there. I didn't know about it, but I'm seeing all these really cool photos or really cool replays, recs, whatever it might be, on Twitter, and they're in my For You section, or I'm seeing them on Instagram or something, and let the community actually help you promote the game. So that's my fifth and final thing, honestly. It's something very niche, that a lot of people don't think about, but actually for the longevity of the game, I think that's what this video is mostly about, is that the longevity of the game, these things can actually help in the long run. So those are 5 features that I want to see in NASCAR 25. I'm not saying they will be in the game. I'm not saying that they should be prioritized or anything, but features that I'd be really happy that if we came back in September of next year and see that 3 out of the 5 of these things are in the game, I'm actually going to be pretty pleased about that. 4 or 5, ecstatic. 5 out of 5, absolutely perfect. But if some of those things can be in the game, along with what I already believe iRacing is gonna nail, which is the physics and the scanning of the tracks and the car models and how the car reacts to the track, I don't really have any worries, to be honest, when it comes with iRacing to get those details right. It's the other things I'm hoping they have enough resources and enough time to get done. And again, I say this at the very end, if there are some features that might not be able to make it to September, but for some reason you'd be able to put it in by February, I would work with NASCAR and just talk to them and be like, we could release this at the start of the 2025 season and launch it with the Daytona 500. I mean, NASCAR The Game Inside Line did that, I think, and that's a very good game. A lot of people reminisce on that game very well, but again, if it means that you could just polish the game and make it better, we've already waited 3-4 years, whatever it's going to be. Tell me to wait 5 more months. I really will not be that disheartened about it. So let's see how it goes, guys. Take care of yourselves. Enjoy the rest of your day. What do you want to see in the game, by the way? Again, not things that have to be in there, but what do you personally want? Think outside the box. Like that replay thing, you know, I didn't even think about it a few years ago, even maybe 1 year ago. What do you think should be in the game that you would want, that you think would be beneficial for the game and the community overall? Take care of yourselves. I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace out.